Okay, I'm going to do a short video here with talking about the 8 days of Hanukkah. And a lot of people don't understand it, and it's celebrated each year, but it's an important holiday. It's not in the Bible, it was after the Bible. It's actually a fulfillment of a biblical promise or prophecy that something would be happening. This, I believe, is a near fulfillment, and there's going to be a far fulfillment during the tribulation period. And it's written in the Apocrypha books, where are history books between the scriptures. And it was a very important time in the history of Israel, but it's not a feast to the Lord, but they should still be praising the Lord for what happened here, because it obviously was a God thing that was involved. So in this story, Antiochus Epiphanes, this is an actual carving that we still have of him, and he was ruling the area, and he took over the temple area. And we'll talk about what all he did and what all happened there. So Antiochus Epiphanes, he's from 215 BC to 1640, 164 BC, was the king of the Seleucid Empire from 175 until his death in 164 BC. He outlawed the belief in the Bible for the Hebrew people, and he forced them to worship other gods. So his whole purpose was to get rid of people believing in the God of the Bible. And had he succeeded, he might have, but he wasn't going to succeed doing that. A lot of people have tried, and the Antichrist will try that too. And he forced them to worship the gods of the Greeks, and that's Zeus. And so he came down to the temple and he sacrificed a pig in the temple and set up an idol of Zeus in the temple. And he wanted to end the belief in Yahweh was his whole purpose. Well, the Antichrist is going to come into the temple and put a statue of himself and probably sacrifice a pig too. And it's a blasphemous thing to do to God. But God raised up a family, and the sons became called the Maccabees, meaning the hammers. So these people were out in the hills, and Epiphanes was a big ruler of a big army, but they came up and realized that they had to do something, and they were God-fearers, and they were Jewish people. They didn't like seeing people worshiping a pagan god in the temple, so they ran for the hills, but Antiochus sent his army after them. And by a miracle, they won the first battle. So these Maccabeans won the first battle, and they sent a larger army, and they won that battle too. I don't know if they got some arms from them, from the first or the second, but they probably obtained some weapons, and it doesn't say. They might have had some help from some other people, but all it says is them. Then they sent another larger army, and they defeated them too. And then they sent half of their whole army, and they won again. And so they won, and they ran the army off and ran off Antiochus, and they went and cleaned out the temple, and it became the Feast of 8 Days, or Hanukkah, because it contained only enough oil to light the the candles for one day. Yet a miracle happened, and they used it to light for 8 days. So they put in enough light for one day, but it kept going for 8 days. So this was another miracle that was of God. And The recounting of miracles is so dominant and popular because it focuses on the role of God in this story as opposed to the Maccabees' military accomplishments, a focus echoing a phrase from the biblical book of Zechariah that is always chanted during Hanukkah, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. That's how they did it, and that's what the people did when they started celebrating. And it's just like what's going to happen during the tribulation. The Antichrist is going to come. He's going to allow them to build the temple, and then he's going to take over the temple in the same way and probably kill the two witnesses. And he's going to do evil things, but then the impossible is going to happen, and one single man is going to come down from the heavens and wipe them all out. And that's Jesus Christ. So we know how it all ends. We knew that they weren't going to succeed in wiping out belief in Yahweh and God's promises. His prophecies always come true, and they will come true in the future.